Hello everyone and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. It's a Friday afternoon. I'm having a bit of a Prince William retrospective today. I'm looking at two critical moments in his life that might have affected events now. And the first one is something that happened 30 years ago, the Princess Diana interview, the Martin Bashir interview. It was the 30th anniversary of that interview yesterday. And newspapers were talking about it, and there was an interesting little snippet from Tina Brown's Palace Papers. And Tina Brown claims that the late Queen Elizabeth was so worried about the effect that the Diana interview would have or was having on Prince William that she thought he was heading for a nervous breakdown. That serious stuff coming from that good old Taurus, the late Queen. He wasn't really in the realm of operating in the realm of nervous breakdowns. So that's strong stuff. And it's a very sad moment in Prince William's life. He was just turned 13, well 13 and a few months, and just started at Eton. And he was told by his mother that she would, he would be proud of her. The interview would be all wonderful. And then, of course, he watched it all by himself in his housemaster's office. He wept his way through it. And afterwards, he didn't want to talk to her on the phone. And when they did finally meet, he was furious, screaming, shouting, crying. Awful, absolutely awful. It, I assume, damaged their relationship. It did a lot of damage. I'm going to have a look at it today with the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. Interestingly, Prince Harry decided not to watch the interview. I'm going to have a look at it. I want to know what the late Queen thought, how worried she was about Prince William, and I want to know how right she was to be worried. I want to know what the two brothers feel about that interview now, Prince William and Prince Harry. Prince William has studiously avoided anything to do with the BBC as far as possible. Prince Harry, of course, famously gave them an interview straight after he lost his security appeal in the British courts. He went trotting straight to the BBC to give a rather tempestuous interview that didn't help his cause with the royal family and with the public. So I want to know its impact on William's relationship with his mother and with his brother. The fact that Harry didn't watch it, and the fact that Harry doesn't seem to be as averse to the BBC as Prince William seems to be, is interesting to me. And finally, long-term impacts on Prince William and also on his relationship with the BBC. BBC is interesting to me at the moment because of the rumbling saga with President Trump, which I want to look at over on the other channel at some stage. Legacy Media, what on earth is going on with that? It looks as if Prince William has pretty much washed his hands of Legacy Media. He gave that big interview to Canadian fellow whose name escapes me right now, and Eugene Levy, and he gave some interviews in Brazil that also made some waves, and they were not to British Legacy Media. So that's what we're looking at today. Just thought change of pace, change things up a bit. Prince William, as I say, this is long-term consequences, I believe, personally. So we're going to have a look and see what the vibe was then and what the vibe is now, and the consequences for Prince William and various relationships of that very, very difficult moment in a 13-year-old boy's life. There he is, Prince William, Cancerian energy. That's his energy, of course, her energy as well. Princess Diana's, let's not forget. But that is driving forward. This card for me, the Chariot card, tells me it was fundamental in his life in informing certain aspects of his life. And what I'm not looking at today is the impact that it's had on his parenting and how he's raising his children. I'm sure it's had a profound impact on that. But on his goals and on his mission and on his purpose, there it is. That very ambitious card, that very focused card with that chariot energy, very driven. Harry is the one who loudly proclaims that he is single single-handedly reforming the British press, but he's not. He's failed signally to change anything. Prince William is the one who unearthed the phone hacking scandal all those years ago, which led to that investigation, inquiry, whatever it was, Levinson inquiry. He's the one who announced that the BBC was not to show that interview ever again. There it is, Chariot. Very strong energy, very focused, very determined energy. They say that he's willful and bad-tempered and difficult. He has reasons, I would say. Given, I find it quite difficult to read this little piece in the Daily Mail about him and about how worried the Queen was for him. So let's get to the heart of this reading. We've got the Star in reverse. That's very Princess Diana energy, of course. There, she was the star of the royal family at that stage, and she was falling at that stage. And this interview, this scandal, was instrumental in her downfall, I believe. And I haven't said the usual disclaimer: tarot, fun and entertainment, opinion, speculation, energy reading. Disclaimer in the box below. So there it is, the usual standard disclaimer that I always say in my readings ad nauseam. But the Star in reverse is losing faith in something and despair, and that's very strong energy, very, very strong. It really did a lot of damage. You can't express the level of damage that's in that Star card in reverse. So very big cards. This was a big moment. Obviously we all know it was a big moment, but the cards are confirming that because they're major arcana. His card and then his mother in reverse there, the Star in reverse, I believe. So let's look at the late Queen and ask how worried she was. Tina Brown, I nearly said Tina Turner. Tina Brown, very worried that Prince William would actually have some kind of breakdown. Yeah, she was. This is, I think she was more than worried, more worried than just about a breakdown with that 10 of Swords. I think she was worried about something that he might do himself some harm with that energy. And that's interesting because I've never thought that about him. Never had any reason to think that about him. We've heard that Harry might have attempted such things in his youth, and possibly even in California. There have been rumours about things like that in the past few years. We know that Meghan has claimed to have wanted to do such things, and we know that Princess Diana at various stages tried such things as well. This is deep concern about him, about his mental health, about how he would ever recover from this devastating blow for a 13-year-old boy at a new school like Eton, having to deal with your classmates who are going to say the most disgusting things about your parents and all the rest of it. So humiliating, so appalling. And there it is, 10 of Swords. It doesn't get worse than the 10 of Swords in terms of devastation and ruin, calamity. It's in reverse. That for me means that she really thought it could be the end of him, quite literally. So how right was she to be that worried? And you can't get more worried than that card for me as an energy reader. Was it that bad for him? I've got the 6 of Cups. There was something that saved him in that energy. And the thing that saved him, and I'm very sad to say this because it's making me quite emotional and it must be devastating for him. The thing that I think saved him was Harry, was his younger brother, having to look after him. And he was always responsible for Harry, even when they were children. And there are children in the 6 of Cups. It's famously about sort of innocence and childhood and old relationships, friendships, family relationships that are the good times, the happy days, the innocence, the bonds that are formed then that really shouldn't be broken, but unfortunately sometimes are, especially when along comes a spider, shall we say. So that saved him. Looking after someone else, this is my energy reading, my interpretation of the cards. The fact that he had a younger brother to worry about saved him. That, I think, tells you all you need to know about their dynamic and the kind of man that Prince William is. So let's move along and let's look at the brothers now and their view of the interview now. Harry, who didn't watch it then, I'm sure has watched it many times since, probably with his wife, who probably cosplays the interview. That's my bit of snark, just to lighten the mood, because it's getting quite heavy here on the tarot table. So Prince William first, of course. Prince William, how does he feel about it now? I've got the Two of Pentacles, and that's an interesting card because it's trying to maintain his equanimity about a situation, trying to see both sides of something. And he's not trying to see the BBC side versus Princess Diana's side. He's looking at it, I almost said through a lens. It's amazing you can become hypnotized into speaking word salad quite effectively, it seems. He's looking at it from a mature perspective, and he's looking at his parents, and he's looking at them and trying to see each person's side of the argument, and he's weighing the sides of the arguments, and he's trying to balance them out. That's how it's reading for me. Harry, what does Harry think about the interview now? I've got the Ten of Pentacles. And how I'm going to read this, and this is just my energy reading, is that he looks at it as the institution. We've heard that word institution, and we have got the notion that since Madame arrived in his life, slithered into his world, into his Garden of Eden, he's had a very different view of events in his family. And I think that this institution thing that he now references, instead of my family or the royal family or whatever, the institution, this is the Ten of Pentacles, is the institution. And I think he looks at it, this is my personal opinion, my energy reading, he looks at it and he says, it was her, poor her, versus the institution, the men in grey suits, wicked pa, wicked stepmother, and poor delicate flower. That's how it's reading for me. You might say it's a bit of a stretch. That is where I am. Two of Pentacles there for William, trying to just see it from all sides and just maintain his equilibrium and not get too carried away and not get tipped over into any one direction. Working quite hard to maintain equanimity. It's one of my favorite things in the world. The middle way, equanimity. That is a very good place to be. It's a very healthy place to be. Harry, on the other hand, 10 Pentacles. It's very lopsided energy for me as an energy reader. So let's move on. And let's move on to impact of the interview on Prince William's relationships. First of all, with his mother. What do the cards want to tell us about that? It led to a very difficult moment in his life, a choice point in his life, the Two of Swords and the Two of Swords in reverse, where he was forced into decisions, and he was forced down a certain path that he didn't want to go down. I think almost choosing between parents, didn't want to choose but was forced to, choosing sides on things he didn't want to choose, didn't know how to deal with. Very, very difficult. And it's interesting that I feel that Two of Pentacles upright is a healing energy for him, whereas at the time that Two of Swords in reverse was a very difficult energy for him because he didn't know which way to turn. That's Two of Swords energy. Who to trust, who to choose. You don't want to have to choose between your parents. And he seemingly was forced to make choices that he was very uncomfortable with, that were very difficult for him, and that he couldn't see his way through clearly. I'm guessing that he spent a lot of time talking to the late Queen about this, which is why she was so worried. Those chats, well, they're Sunday afternoon chats when he was at Eton. So, how about his relationship with Harry? Got the Six of Cups on this tarot table already. Impact that this whole saga had on his relationship with Harry. What do the cards want to tell us about that? They were stuck together in a very difficult situation, the two brothers. Six of Swords in reverse. It was a situation, two sixes. Sixes are about harmony, about love. They were stuck, the two brothers. They couldn't escape this. Whatever happened, and of course the parents got divorced and the whole world erupted. Everyone went mad after this interview. They were stuck in the eye of the storm, the two brothers, and they could not escape it. Six of Swords upright is moving away from conflict to a more peaceful, harmonious time. It's in reverse. They couldn't get away from it. However much they wanted to, they couldn't. And of course, we all know that less than 2 years later, Princess Diana was going to die in Paris, just to make things 1,000 times worse for those two brothers. So let's look long term for Prince William, impact of this interview on him and his life. Got the Chariot there. It's a very solid and very powerful card as our underlying energy. King of Wands, there he is. That's the future king that he's going to be, that he's ready to be, I would say. Very dynamic, very engaged, very active, very charismatic, very useful energy, the King of Wands. It's passionate about things. He's going to be principled and passionate about things. Wands are messaging. They are social media and mass communications and things like that. He's going to take this on very purposefully. And I can see that with the Chariot card as our underlying energy. This is part of his mission, King of Wands. And so, relationship with the BBC, how's that been impacted? What's going to happen there? Ooh, he's going to boss right up. Those three cards are extraordinary cards. You've got the Emperor. He's going to take charge of this, and he's going to lay down the law to them. I would say that he's going to have a lot of input into new board, new director, new all of that. He's going to absolutely control them, take charge of them. I would say about time. Those cards are extraordinary. There's someone who's just waiting to get stuck in. It's very positive. It's very powerful. It's very measured. There's nothing impetuous in there or vengeful or controversial or spiteful. This is what needs to happen. Absolutely, I've thought about this. I've thought about this for 30 years. This is what needs to happen. Interesting. It's a Saturn cycle. And then we get the Emperor showing up, who is very, doesn't represent Saturn technically, but he's coming across as that kind of figure of that patriarchal, wise, old head on young shoulders. This is going to be one to watch. I would say, you who are despairing in the UK about what's going on, this is going to be something to behold. So that's your reading. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.